Hey, what's this fucking thing, Sopranos? What the fuck it is? You never watched it? That's supposed to be up.
These are actual FBI recordings of 4 men talking about a mob TV show they love. They're discussing whether The Sopranos is based on them.
That ball guy?
More and more you pick up somebody.
The men belong to a real New Jersey crime family called the DeCavalcanti family. These recordings were later used in court to convict them of murder, racketeering, extortion, illegal gambling, bribery, organized crime.
They would rather break your arm off and beat you to death with your own arm rather than make love to a woman.
He stabbed the guy in the eye with a fork.
Don't fucking move!
Violence and intimidation is why they survive.
Oh, shit!
This is a true story of extreme violence, brutality, and fear. These guys aren't just like the Sopranos. These are the real Sopranos. And this is the intimate tale of their rise and fall. In the TV show The Sopranos, Tony Soprano is the head of a modern mob family. Violent, brutal, and ruthless. But there's something that's different about his family. Until The Sopranos came along, the mob had always been a New York thing. The show established the idea of the small-town mobster living in the epitome of suburbia, New Jersey.
Yeah, it was cool.
But there was a real New Jersey crime family before The Sopranos. The DeCavalcanti family were based on the wrong side of the Hudson River. They were the smallest and oldest mob family in America. They called themselves the Jersey Mob. The world now knows them as the Real Sopranos.
Whoever the scriptwriters have listened or read the tapes of actual conversations by mafiosi, and they know that every other word is laced with profanity.
No fucking way.
So in the mob vernacular,
You piece of shit!
profanity serves both as a noun and a verb,
Fuck all of them.
an adjective, an adverb.
Open the fucking door. Open the fucking door!
It's every part of grammar.
The similarities between the Sopranos and the real New Jersey mob don't stop at the way they speak. Both families hung out at a pork store, and the fictional Centani's is less than 200 yards from Sacco's, where the real mob could be found most mornings.
You can walk around the corner. You can go to the real gangster pork store and then walk down the street and go to the TV pork store.
Tony Soprano reveals his caring side when underboss Jackie Aprile dies of stomach cancer. In 1992, real DeCavalcanti underboss Jake Amari died of stomach cancer. But in the real New Jersey crime family, there was one man who could claim the most unbelievable parallels with the fictional New Jersey crime family. Vinnie Palermo, known as Vinnie Ocean, has the strongest claim to be the real Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano owns a strip club, the Bada Bing. Vinnie Ocean owned Wiggles, a strip club in Queens. Tony and Vinnie are both capos. Both their crews are murderous and often incompetent. Tony Soprano lives in a mini mansion. Vinnie Ocean lived in this mini mansion. Both Tony and Vinnie take over their family without officially becoming boss. And both of them have trouble spelled with a capital FBI.
What's going on? What are you doing?
The world of the real Tony Soprano, Vinnie Palermo, was just as brutal and sometimes funnier than fiction.
All right, we'll go to plan B. I'll talk to you later.
And the mob isn't a career you retire from. For both men, there's only 3 ways it can end.
You either die, you go away, or you cooperate. There's really no other way out of it.
The rise and fall of Vinnie Ocean began in 1989. The DeCavalcantis were what they had always been, the poor relations of the New York Mafia.
If you listen to Bruce Springsteen, he'll tell you everything you need to know about New Jersey. New Jersey is the place you want to get out of, and you aspire to come to New York. It's the place next to power. It's the place next to money. It's the place next to celebrity.
No one took them seriously.
If you asked anybody who was in the 5 families in New York, I don't think they'd want to be a member of the Jersey mob. I actually know of some cases where, you know, guys couldn't get made in New York and had to, as a last resort, take Jersey.
The New York families look at the New Jersey family as a pathetic stepchild. The New York families call them farmers, and they really hate that.
They were a branch office of the American Mafia, and they didn't like it. But this was the family Vinnie Palermo was trying to get into. He started at the bottom.
He got his nickname because he at one point was involved in selling fish at the Fulton Fish Market, so they came up with the brilliant nickname Vinnie Ocean.
Vinnie wasn't just working the fish market, he was hustling, and he'd married into the mob, the daughter of the underboss of the Real Soprano family.
I think he was street smart and willing to do things that other people were not willing to do. He was also able to kind of see other people's weaknesses. He was a very corporate guy, basically. You know, he would have been a great CEO.
It was that willingness that got Vinnie Ocean his big chance. It was time for him to make his bones. In 1989, John Gotti, the biggest boss in the New York Mafia, wanted the Jersey mob to do him a favor.
This is very important for our family. It'll give us some credence, make us look good with the other 5 families.
John Gotti always kind of looked at the DeCavalcanti family as a Jersey mall or something. And so Gotti reached out to the DeCavalcanti family, the farmers, and asked them to do a little piece of work, that's the phrase they use, to basically shoot this guy who was a real estate developer in Staten Island.
The developer's name was Fred Weiss. It was a Sunday morning, 1989. 4 cars drove in convoy over the bridge to Staten Island. Vinnie was one of a crew of 12 men staking out Fred Weiss's house.
He comes walking out of his house on a September morning, September 11th, 1989, and he comes walking out of his door, and 2 guys walk up and shoot him in the face.
Vincent Palermo and James Gallo jumped back in the car. James said, go, 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 so I pulled away, not too fast, not too slow.
And that was a big deal because that was doing a favor for John Gotti. Therefore, Vinnie Palermo could do no wrong in the DeCavalcanti family from then on.
A few days later, Vinnie Ocean became a made man in the DeCavalcanti family.
When you were a member of the Cavalcanti family, you had no choice about being second banana or in second place to the New York families.
But that was about to change. For Vinnie Ocean and the Real Sopranos, the 1990s would be a time of murder, extortion, and vast quantities of cash. In The Sopranos, Tony lives the high life, always flush with cash provided in brown envelopes by the men in his crew. This is lifted directly from the real-life mob. Vinnie Ocean, the real Tony Soprano, became a made man in the Jersey mob after the Staten Island hit. Now he, too, was part of that money-making machine.
Getting into the family was as hard as getting into the most exclusive country club in America. It was an honor, not easily bestowed.
Organized crime is organized. Vinnie was joining a carefully structured business.
You have a boss, you have an underboss, you have a consigliere, and that would be called the administration of the family, the 3 highest people in the family.
The boss was the only one who could appoint the capos. The capos were people, captains, who controlled the real working crews or units. Each capo had at least 10 people who were known as soldiers, people who were formerly and underwent a blood induction into the family.
Vinny was now a soldier, a made man. He had taken an oath never to reveal the family secrets on pain of death. He'd moved up a rung from being an associate.
You start off as an associate, and if you're a great earner, or if you're somebody that they can depend on to do dirty work that they need, you know, it's gonna push your chances up to become a member.
In the modern mob, it's all about cash flow. Associates have to kick money up to soldiers, soldiers to capos, and capos to the administration. Vinny was given his own scams to run, his to make as much cash as he could from, as long as he kicked some of it upstairs. These were the classic mob schemes: money lending and illegal betting.
As long as there's gambling and loan sharking, the mafia will be alive and well.
Frank Santasola spent 20 years as a cop infiltrating organized crime. He knows better than anyone else how mob scams work, because he's done them himself.
This is the Park Hill section of Yonkers, South Yonkers. There used to be a club here, right here. I used to turn in work. This was a certain guy's club. Now, I don't know if it's still in operation, but I also used to buy homemade wine in the basement.
Frank was working as a numbers runner, the bottom of the mob hierarchy. Most of Vinny Ocean's crew ran some sort of gambling operation.
It's changed, you know, it's not what it used to be.
The numbers was the unofficial mob lottery. People would bet on what 3 numbers would come up as the total gambled at the Brooklyn racecourse.
Different outfits have different payouts. Like the outfit I worked for, they were paying 550 to 1. People love to gamble. Now, you didn't have to twist their arms. Everybody gambles.
Anyone who knows anything about gambling in America would prefer a wager with the mob. They give you the best odds. There's no taxes.
A lot of guys who gamble end up borrowing money, and if they can't go to the bank and say, I want to gamble $450,000, so what you do is you go to Vinny, and they say, yeah, no problem, I'll give you this money, okay, no problem, and then you gamble it, and what happens? You lose.
Just like Tony Soprano, Vinny Ocean put money out on the street at jaw-clenchingly high rates of interest.
You run for me, you fucking cocksucker? Where's my fucking money?
Say you borrowed $500, so, you know, it's like if I borrowed 5, I'd have to pay 8 back. So could you imagine if I borrowed 5 and I could not pay the principal back, and I'd have to come up with $300 a week to give you every week?
I'll give you a fucking bone, you prick! Where's my fucking money?
The Sopranos portrays a world where violence is the simple solution to every problem. That's just as true of the real mob.
For most of the 20th century, the mob was an invisible government and presence in the New York metropolitan area, including New Jersey and Connecticut and Long Island. And they were into everything. The Cavalcantes controlled one of the important laborers' unions in the construction industry.
They were involved in drug dealing, they extorted stores, auto crimes, medical fraud, insurance fraud, bank burglaries, murder, assaults. You name it, if there was money in it, they found a way to turn it into something.
The alleged members of the Colombo crime family were indicted for loan sharking, labor corruption, extortion...
The 90s was a good time for the Jersey mob. The FBI had hit the New York families hard, taking them down one by one in a series of huge cases.